This is the loudest argument against same-sex adoption. Homosexual parents will bring up homosexual children. If this is true, wouldn't heterosexual parents bring up heterosexual children? I'm living proof that that is not the case. I'm a gay child who was raised by heterosexual parents. Here are a couple more statements about same-sex adoption. In nature, offspring are raised by a mother and a father. To legally allow adoption by gay couples is to encourage what is an unnatural upbringing. In nature, some parents eat their young. Everything humans do is natural. What is natural has the potential to become the norm, or at least popular. Another one is, homophobic behavior is still common. Placing a child too young to have an opinion of their own in the care of a gay couple exposes them to the prejudice and subjects them to ridicule or violence. Whatever ideal we might have, the welfare of the child must come first. This idea is crazy. Children are cruel. For instance, a child with overweight parents will be teased because his parents are fat. Or a child who has modest clothing will be teased because he is poor. Another one is, a child's primary role models are his or her parents. Bring a heterosexual child up in a gay household gives a distorted view of sexuality, just as a girl brought up by two men would fail to benefit from feminine influence. That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. First of all, what evidence is there to support the notion that sexual orientation of one's parents has any bearing on their own? I'd like this person to explain what distorted view of sexuality these children would be exposed to. It appears as if the only thing they'd be exposed to is the fact that there are different kinds of families with different lifestyles. Homosexuality has been present for thousands of generations, and it isn't going anywhere soon. Dr. Ellen Perrin, who is a renowned expert in pediatric psychology, has this to say in a report to the American Academy of Pediatrics. The vast consensus of all the studies shows the children of same-sex parents do as well as children whose parents are heterosexual in every way. In some ways, children of same-sex parents actually may have advantages over their other family structures. They did better in discipline, self-esteem, and had less psychosocial difficulties at home and at school. She also noted two large studies finding that same-sex parents also had contact with extended family, social support, and had more equitable division of labor at home, which led to better upbringing for the child. Zach Walls is a 19-year-old boy from Iowa who testified in an Iowa House of Representatives. He was raised by a lesbian couple who were legally married in Iowa. When the state decided to end legal marriage in the state, Zach spoke out. Although this is about marriage and not adoption, his speech talked about how it was having two moms. He introduced himself as a sixth-generation Iowan. He was an Eagle Scout, and he scored in the 99th percentile in his college aptitude test. A clip of this video will follow my speech. Most states will allow gay marriage adoption, but 13 states have actual laws on the books. The states in green allow gay couples and singles to adopt. These are California, Massachusetts, New Jersey, New Mexico, New York, Ohio, Vermont, Washington, Wisconsin, and D.C. The three states in orange only allow married gay couples to adopt: Utah, New Hampshire, and Arkansas. As of this day, Florida still has a total ban on gay adoptions. Whether you agree with homosexuality or not isn't the issue. If loving someone of the same sex is a good reason to stop someone from having children, then what about the people who abuse their children? Is that healthy for the child? why don't they have a national testing program to see if someone will be a fit parent?
Good evening, Mr. Chairman. My name is Zach Walls. I'm a sixth-generation Iowan and an engineering student at the University of Iowa, and I was raised by two women. My biological mom, Terry, told her grandparents that she was pregnant, that the artificial insemination had worked, and they wouldn't even acknowledge it. It actually wasn't until I was born and they succumbed to my infantile cuteness that they broke down and told her that they were thrilled to have another grandson. Unfortunately, neither of them lived to see her marry her partner, Jackie, of 15 years when they wed in 2009. My younger sister and only sibling was born in 1994. We actually have the same anonymous donor, so we're full siblings, which is really cool for me. And I guess the point is that our family really isn't so different from any other Iowa family. When I'm home, we go to church together, we eat dinner, we go on vacations. But we have our hard times too. We get in fights. Actually, my mom, Terry, was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis in 2000. It is a devastating disease that put her in a wheelchair, so we've had our struggles. But, we're Iowans. We don't expect anyone to solve our problems for us. We'll fight our own battles. We just hope for equal and fair treatment from our government. Being a student at the University of Iowa, the topic of same-sex marriage comes up quite frequently in classroom discussions. And the question always comes down to, well, can gays even raise kids? And the conversation gets quiet for a moment because most people don't really have an answer. And then I raise my hand and say, actually, I was raised by a gay couple, and I'm doing pretty well. I scored in the 99th percentile on the ACT. I'm actually an Eagle Scout. I own and operate my own small business. If I was your son, Mr. Chairman, I believe I'd make you very proud. I'm not really so different from any of your children. My family really isn't so different from yours. After all, your family doesn't derive its sense of worth from being told by the state, you're married, congratulations. No, the sense of family comes from the commitment we make to each other, to work through the hard times so we can enjoy the good ones. It comes from the love that binds us. That's what makes a family. So what you're voting here isn't to change us. It's not to change our families, it's to change how the law views us, how the law treats us. You are voting for the first time in the history of our state to codify discrimination into our Constitution. A Constitution that, but for the proposed amendment, is the least amended Constitution in the United States of America. You are telling Iowans that some among you are second-class citizens who do not have the right to marry the person you love. So will this vote affect my family? Would it affect yours? Over the next 2 hours, I'm sure we're going to hear plenty of testimony about how damaging having gay parents is on kids. But in my 19 years, not once have I ever been confronted by an individual who realized independently that I was raised by a gay couple. And you know why? Because the sexual orientation of my parents has had zero effect on the content of my character. Thank you very much.